minute here. This is going to be coming to you from an urban Native American perspective, a mixed perspective, and a secular perspective. And I want to go ahead and I want to emphasize secular because this is a show about marriage, but I approach this basically from a non-religious perspective. And I think it kind of opens up the floor for people from all different religious backgrounds to even, take a look at a secular channel like mine. Um, so what I wanted to talk about was, I was sitting there thinking, and I just couldn't get this off my mind, right? Because we all know Domynique basically told Pastor Cal that she's ready for a divorce. She does not want to try to continue this marriage with McKinley any longer. Now, I don't know. It seemed to be, I kept thinking like, gosh, they had so much chemistry, right? On the first, like, I don't know, it felt like the first few nights of the honeymoon. And then afterwards, it was like something had changed completely. And I know that, the horseback riding turned her off, and the fact that he didn't want to, go scuba diving, jump off cliffs, jump out of a plane kind of thing, which was very immature to me because, adventurous stuff, while it's great, I understand you're on vacation. I mean, part of it is the matching. I'm not going to put it all on Dominique, but let me say this here. I feel as though the match was wrong. It was poor. They were poorly matched because the age difference in this particular case was too much. And, she also sold herself as an old soul. So, that didn't work as well, which I feel that she clearly is not. The fact that he did not bother to get at least okay, the whole controversy about him not getting his own place, I agree with that. I mean, if you're gonna present yourself to me and say, I'm ready to be a husband, but you don't have a permanent residence, no, that's not going to work. But because of the way this particular experiment goes, and I don't know if he applied in other cities or whatever it was, I mean, just get an Airbnb, okay? Because I swear, Nate from the last season with Nate and Stasha, I swear that was an Airbnb. That did not look like a place that he lived in. Kirsten, that looks like an Airbnb to me too. I mean, it might not be, but my point is you can find housing that you can live there for like a month to month basis. So if you're very serious about this process, you want to say, hey, listen, I'm not quite established in this city yet, but this is my domicile. I do have money. I can take care of you. I am ready for this process. I just don't want to sign a lease as of yet. Then that's a little bit different, okay? So, I don't think it's terrible that he was living in his friend's basement. I think it's a 2-bedroom apartment. I mean, a lot of people, have rental things out of their household. It doesn't mean that the person is broke, but he has to realize how bad that looks. So, going back to where the shift happened, because remember when they were in the pool at the honeymoon and then they got out of the pool and they were off to themselves. Did something happen? I mean, it's not like a what do you call it? It's not unusual for these couples to say, oh yeah, we never consummated our marriage, and then we find out later on that they had been doing more than consummating, right? So hold on, let me get this. I got a real Mickey Mouse situation set up here going, okay? That's too much. All right, so anyway, I don't know. I just feel like something must have happened. It didn't seem to be like the adventure or the lack of adventure was enough to kind of have her just completely cut it off. I mean, is she that immature? I'm wondering if they were actually intimate. They didn't tell us, and maybe there was not enough chemistry in that department. I'm wondering what else could it be? I mean, just a theory, right? Or I mean, Yeah, I mean, I think that's my main thing that I'm wondering about. Now, his mom, remember his mom offered him $50,000 to not do this, to not participate in this experiment. Now, that right there, okay, listen, his family has money. I believe he has money. I listen, I've seen on the socials, people are like, oh, they set her up with this unemployed man. But he told us when goodness, when Pastor Cal and Dr. Pepper were, doing all their initial matchmaking and stuff before the weddings happened. I remember Pastor Cal, I don't know if it was episode 1 or 2, he went to his house, right? Or his apartment, his basement apartment that he's renting or not renting. I don't know, whatever the situation. I don't think he's actually paying them money. From what I remember. But what I do remember is that it said that he was a PM or a project manager for construction. Now PMs make a lot of money. Well, at least where I'm from, anyway. I remember I worked for a construction firm, and those PMs were making 150 plus. Now maybe that depends on the market. I'm from New York. Maybe it's different there, or whatever. But we're talking construction here. This is not like it's not like a minimum wage kind of industry. So he has a job, and the other thing is that so his previous industry was in cannabis, right? And because cannabis is not legal in Tennessee, he gave that up. I wonder, but what makes you give that up though? Like, I mean, I understand you want to change, but and the fact that he's into cannabis means he's more of a liberal minded person. Okay, me, all right, I am politically liberal. I listen, there's no question who I voted for in the last election. Okay, I'm very liberal. I'm not a conservative person. I live in a very liberal state. That's by choice. I moved here. I live in Washington. Extremely liberal, sometimes a little too liberal, even gets on my nerves, but that's where I live. So if I know that I have a business that is not going to it's not a business that is not conducive to a liberal or to a conservative state that has a lot of laws that are based in conservatism or have religious roots or things like that. I'm not going to pick up and like give up my business to move to that place because I know I wouldn't be able to move my business there. Was he not able to manage his business like out of state? Did he need to be like move near the border or something? I don't know. It just whatever. But he got out of that industry, and for whatever reason he got out of that industry, he did have money. Now, listen, I haven't seen any bank accounts, but here's the thing. I just want to I feel as though, even though I don't know any of this, personally, I am believing what they told us on TV, what he said, that he does have a job in construction as a project manager, and that he does still have funds from the proceeds, whatever he made in cannabis. I do think that that's true. I really do. I mean, because I don't know why people think he doesn't have a job. Just because the apartment situation, I will admit, is not ideal, especially not for like starting a marriage. But I think he does work. So did Domynique like not believe that, or I'm not sure. But after we had Steve, remember with Steve and Noy, I don't know if they were last season or the season before that. But remember Steve, Mr. I want to live in a van and I don't want to work. Do you guys remember when Pastor Cal was saying, like, towards the end when they didn't work out or whatever, or or they were having problems, and he was addressing that. He was like, yeah, he came on the show without gainful employment, but we thought you could still make it work because you had money saved up. It was something along those lines. I remember feeling like Pastor Cal was a little bit embarrassed because he was still going ahead and advocating for Steve, knowing Steve had no plans on working, or at least he knew that he was not currently working, but maybe Pastor Cal didn't realize that Steve had no plans on working in the future. And of course, that's not going to work for Noy, right? She came from a refugee family. She's all about hard work. Her work ethics are admirable, and she wouldn't expect that from him. So I feel like because of that, last season, that whatever that season was with Steve and his unemployed ass, that they were not going to have someone else on here who was broke. Remember, Pastor Cal said, I saw the bank accounts or the statements or whatever. He's not broke. Remember he said that about McKinley. So I just, yeah, I feel like, I mean, I can't dispel a myth. I mean, what the hell do I know? But I just don't feel like he's unemployed. I don't know where that's coming from. So I say all that to say, he has current income coming in. He has a nice cushion, I guess. And if his mom has 50 grand to just throw around, apparently his family is comfortable too. So I don't think that he wasn't, I don't feel like, he's not financially established, but maybe he's just a little smart with his money and says, I don't want to sign a lease on something and then be stuck in it for whatever amount of months. I mean, I get it, but that's what most people kind of have to do for this experiment. But, like I said, there always is the Airbnb option. So I'm just not sure if he considered that or not, or maybe he just didn't. If he's not paying his friend's family any rent for that basement and they're very close friends, then it is possible because, like, if you do an Airbnb, you still got to pay for that too. So maybe he's just really in a save mode. But then again, if you're saving that much, why would you need to save to that degree if you have that much of a cushion? So I am a little murky on like the whole apartment situation, but I do feel that he does have an income. So yeah, what do you guys think? Do you guys think that there was some intimacy that wasn't discussed that, we just, weren't up to? I mean, do you guys remember like when everybody was telling her that she was, making a mistake and stuff like that? And I feel as though, I know how the other couples, it can come off like, why are these other couples thinking that they can be experts or something like that, especially if they're doing better or something. But even Clint, who's doing very poorly with Gina, I mean, they're not like killing each other at this point, but I mean, we know that is not going anywhere, Clint and Gina, right? But even Clint was like, "You guys are divorcing. Can I get some context to that?" Clint, and the way he talks is really funny, right? So even Clint was like, "Whoa, hold on. If I can stay with Gina, how the hell are you two breaking up?" And Nicole's like, "Well, you're gonna regret like not having given it more of a chance." And her expression, she looked embarrassed. She looked, like she just looked really embarrassed, basically. When you saw her face, she looked like she was trying not to cry. She really had that look on her face like when you're a teenager and, you're getting chastised or something. That's what it was like. I just don't understand this old soul stuff. And her mom, poor mom, she wanted her daughter to go through this process so bad. She already had that dress picked out for the reunion, honey. You couldn't tell her anything. She thought her daughter was going to be doing the Where Are They Now couples and couples cams and all this stuff. But her daughter just, she shouldn't have signed her up with this particular thing. If you know your daughter that well, you should know that, if she doesn't get a bubba, because that's what she wants is a bubba, right? Somebody who's out there on ATVs and stuff like that, good old Southern boy. That, if your preferences are that specific, then I just feel like, why'd you even agree to go on this show? Whether your mom signs you up or not, ultimately she has to fill out the questionnaire and everything like that. So, if you want somebody who can't wait to eat your catfish you just fried up, then maybe you need to go to like a local matchmaker that can find you like a local bubba that's established and has all the the prerequisites that you require. But that's it. I'm off my soapbox. You listen, I'm going to talk to you guys. I'll see you in a few minutes. I'm going to talk to you about Jasmine and Eris. I can't think. It's a Saturday morning. What can I say? All right. I'll see you guys next week. Chipisalacho.